Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another BeawCast. You're not supposed to look at me.
Sorry. I'm looking at the person who's talking. I'm gonna do that.
I know, but he looks.
This is awkward to me.
This is awkward.
Just look at Bart while you're talking and then continue.
All right, so this is Phil, popular on Wong Fu Productions channel, creator.
Dinosaur on YouTube.
What are you talking about, Dinosaur? You're an OG.
That's what he
way better
keeps
than
telling
Dinosaur.
me. So we just came back from Toronto.
Yeah.
And in Toronto, he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here because we got two old farts on you."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I feel that.
Don't
I feel that.
bring me into your group.
I feel. You know what? This is not even has to do anything with you. I'm so sorry, but so we're trying to like get some questions from our fan base for Hey Bitch plug. For just to hear what other people want us to talk about, because we just talk about anything and everything. And someone submitted, they were like, maybe you can talk about like what it feels like losing your youth, like being in your 30s.
Oh God.
I was like,
God.
all right, Becky,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what's
yeah.
your problem?
30s is great.
It is.
30s is great.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk about how it feels when your life's over.
Yeah. I'm like, you
Damn.
little
This
bitch.
This person must have been like in their teens. Like, 'cause
Oh,
I remember
absolutely.
as a teenager, I thought being in college was old.
Absolutely.
You know what I
dude.
mean? So
Yeah.
Do you
Fuck
feel like
Becky.
your I don't know, do you feel like your youth or your YouTube youth is over?
you know
And
what?
you feel like a dinosaur?
I feel like a dinosaur in the sense like when I there's a lot of stuff on YouTube right now that I just can't relate to, and I don't mind that. Like I think it's natural in a lot of different
like
mediums.
who don't you like?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Just kidding.
There's definitely certain channels where I'm like, okay, this it's just about like drama, like YouTube drama.
Oh,
I can't
yeah,
stand
yeah.
channels that are just about YouTube drama. Like
Yeah.
it's like to me like YouTube has become one big high school that everyone on the internet can go to. And so, you know, you have the popular kids and what happened at the party? Oh my God, so and so did what? And then like, oh, who's fighting, you know, behind the bleachers? Literally, they're boxing now. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
they're creating their own ecosystem. They're creating their own like E Entertainment or Bravo, which is already a dated reference, right? Like,
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. So when I see that, I'm kind of glad that we came up during a time of YouTube where we didn't have to rely on those kind of antics.
Yeah.
And it felt a little bit more pure. Not to be like, oh, it was so much better in our day, but
Back in my day.
yeah, I know. Like, I understand that this is the new culture and like it's fine, but I'm just glad I don't have to participate in that to find success in that. Now, you know, we have a certain level of success that we can go beyond that. Like, there was a period of time where like, you know, I'm sure you guys can relate, where it's like, oh, subscribers, views, whatever. These days, like, I'm like so not concerned with that as much anymore. Like it's kind of like a rat race, and it's like it will never end, you know. Like let's say, you know, in the like late 2000s, oh man, Wong Fu, we're killing it. Okay, and then early 2010s, oh Wong Fu, we got to keep going. Like it's a never ending race if you want to do. Like right now, if I wanted to be like oh my God, I want to be the most popular YouTuber, yeah, I know exactly what we could be doing, but then I know that 5 years will pass and we're gonna have to do the same thing over again for a new class of
Like
influencers.
watchers or something.
Exactly.
Damn,
right.
That's
So
deep, dude.
One thing that
That's deep.
I find that kind of sucks is like, you know, in traditional media, like let's say there's the traditional outlets, right? Like Wall Street Journal, LA Times, New York Times, whatever. The crazy drama, like
Yeah.
National Enquirer stuff, it's like they're peanuts compared to the big newspapers.
Yeah.
But in the YouTube realm, it's
Right.
the opposite.
Right.
It's like if you do the drama, crazy TMZ stuff,
Right.
that shoots you up to getting 1 million followers within a year. And it's almost like the real content is what people don't really care about.
Right.
You know
as
what's
much.
funny though? You're wrong.
I
Because
am?
what's really kicking ass is all the fucking kid channels.
no, but see, that's the.
Screw those channels.
I see what you guys are doing, okay, with Taika. I
No,
see
we're
what
not
you
even
guys-
a kid
I just-
channel.
No. Oh, that's funny. No, like the real, like, have you seen
Yeah.
the ones where they take out like
Yeah,
jelly?
I'm unboxing and making a jelly.
Yeah,
and,
or they do like
slime. It's all slime.
Slime.
stuff.
You don't even know who the person is. It's just hands
and
going
it's
like
like
this.
22 million.
You know
views,
why? Because it's
100 and
parents.
something- Ugh.
I mean, you tell me, you guys are in that world. You guys have parent friends. Like they literally
We're
just. will-
parents, bro.
I know, but also you have. I'm saying you
Our
also
life's
have.
over.
Yeah. But like it's just on autoplay, you know, like so like things just kind of keep going and going. But yeah, I feel like, you know, going back to what you're saying, Bart, like it's unfortunate that a lot of times, and what breaks the mainstream news of YouTubers is always the worst stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, this guy, I don't even want to say his name. This guy videotaped him like with a dead body. This guy is getting kicked out
I know
of a
who you're
mansion.
naming.
You know, this guy is, you know, yeah, these people are boxing.
I know all those people you're naming.
Yeah, so it's like, why?
Are their last name Paul?
These are the people that mainstream thinks YouTubers or YouTube creators are, digital creators in general. And so that brings all of us down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when I see like other YouTubers, you know, YouTube channels like talking about it, giving it even more light, I'm like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Because they want to talk about it to get clout also and just be part of the conversation. I'm like, guys, we should be talking about, you know, entrepreneurs and businesses and you know, books and, you know, people that are crossing over,
that's
you know.
so boring.
I know. What are you talking about? Dude, you know Joe, remember Mystery Guitar Man?
Yeah.
He's making,
what is he up to?
Okay, so he is making movies that are a can. He's shooting a movie literally right now with like with Daniel Day Kim and Anna Kendrick. It's like why is YouTube not talking about that? But they want to talk about, oh yeah, the latest, you know, scandal or whatever. It's really,
I feel like that video would be like 500 views.
So what did you think of James Charles and that whole? I'm just kidding.
I honestly like
Kidding.
so when I see stuff, like, I actually try to avoid it. Like I'll get like the bullet points, but I purposely avoid not watching the videos or any of the recap videos.
Yeah.
I don't need that kind of petty. It's petty too. It's petty drama.
Absolutely.
That's a dilemma that we face all the time on JK News,
Yeah.
where like something will break out, right? And it's something that, as in our personal preference, we don't like that much. We don't really agree with. So we're like, okay, let's not shine any light on this. Let's focus on the positive. But then the fans will ask for it. What's your take on it? And I think what they're looking for is, there's this stupid thing. Either we can come in and roast it or try to correct it or provide like a proper opinion on it. So it's kind of like we're stuck in the middle where, like, do we address it, but then at least have a chance to give it a new perspective, or do we just completely ignore it out of our ecosystem? Yeah,
no, I get what you're saying, and I think that, you know, you guys handle it, you know, in the way that you guys, you know, need to for your fan base and everything, and I think it's necessary. I think at a certain point, certain channels like built themselves out to do that, and you almost have like a duty to talk about these things, right? So I can't imagine being in that position of like deciding, okay, what do we want to comment on and stuff. But because
they even go, why don't you guys talk about sports? And then it's because there's only one or two guys that watch sports. So when we do actually bring up sports, it's crickets around the room. Right. So fans only know what they don't want. Fans don't know what they do want.
That's
true.
Like, that's just people, dude.
That's people,
I don't know what I want sometimes.
Well, that's all girls too.
Whoa. Do you go with that?
All girls don't know what they want.
This is where I just look straight.
Yeah, you're a smart man.
Girls are very smart. Very smart.
You see, he's a very smart man. You know how long it took Bart to it.
Girls are so
Bart
smart.
always felt like in a relationship he has like a valid opinion.
Like, I don't have
you
an
don't.
Opinion. What's the opinion?
Not.
I don't know what opinion is.
You know what else he would do? I don't know if you do this. Let me know if you're guilty or not.
Okay.
I would ask him about the age-old question: do I look fat?
Yeah,
so I wouldn't ask him in that way because that's just stupid. I'm just like begging for some bad shit. Right. Good on you for not.
But you still ask. You still ask the stupid ass question in a different way though.
Right. Okay. That was where I was getting
at. Yeah, you reword it.
Okay. So right.
Do you like these drapes?
Do these drapes make me look fat?
But then this fool used to tell me the honest truth.
Hey,
I'm trying to be honest.
That's horrible. Don't you ever?
Don't be honest.
You act like you didn't know what you're getting into. This guy literally put like all of that out there on all of his content, and you're gonna act like, why are you acting like this in private?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's like wait, Bart.
You know who I am. Yeah.
I feel like I don't have any friends up until you just now. No one ever told me that before.
I gotta say, wait. I mean, because I've talked to friends who have, gone through the pregnancy stages. I'm not even talking about it correctly.
Are you calling me fat?
No. Like, don't you look at
you
look at your wife and women completely differently after you've seen how they
Should I walk out of this room?
How they handle like pregnancy? Like, it's incredible. Like all of my.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, speak your mind, dude.
No, I was gonna say like I think like it would make me fall in love more with like my wife.
No, he called me fat. He literally called me fat.
Oh god. No, I did fall in love with more.
Like, or at the very least, just be in awe of the female body and what it's capable.
I'm super,
of.
and I was there. I was there during labor.
Yeah.
And like what she had to go through, the
Yeah.
amount of pain that she had to go through, and just even like the 9 months of like,
Yeah.
there's certain ways they can't sleep, food they
Yeah.
can't eat. It's fucking insane. That's
Yeah.
why I always tell them, like, I wish I was pregnant for
Me
the next
too.
one,
Yeah.
so at least we can share
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a huge burden.
Right,
Okay,
right,
so
right.
you did bring up a great point, right? Yes, you're mesmerized. You almost honor the woman, right? Because she
Right.
can do some shit.
And
that
you're
you
saying
can't.
that you don't want that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, and I think that's beautiful.
Okay.
But that's in a very respectful way. What
Yeah.
about like wanting to like bone the shit out of her? You probably don't see that anymore because you're like, I just saw a human come out of that. Like
That's beyond
That's
my
different.
experience and
True.
I will let you once I've gotten to that point.
Yeah,
I will,
we'll bring you back
We'll
on.
bring this back, but I mean that's something. How is it? How is it different? You know, like that's
It's
what
not
It's about
different.
you.
It's
Yeah.
exactly
It's
the
about
same
you
to
right
me.
now.
right? Yeah, it's not about. I'm like your sexual counselor right now. What am I? What did you bring me into?
We just want you to solve our relationship problems, dude. What
That's
should we
it's
do?
exactly the
That's
same
what
to
the
me.
fans are for. That's what the comments are for.
They do.
Right? They know you guys
Yeah.
so well. They
They
know you
do.
every detail of you, right?
Yeah, they do.
100%.
A little too much.
Yeah.
No, but I guess I was bringing that up
Yeah.
to be like, are you that boyfriend that is like brutally honest, or do you just
Oh.
know when not to say stuff for the sake of
So-
like, you know, what's
Yeah, are you a
gonna follow?
liar, a good liar boyfriend,
A white liar.
or a bad honest boyfriend?
That's funny.
That's how girls want to categorize. it.
Literally, yeah.
There's just there's no way to win. You're
No.
just bad or bad. Yeah.
No, you're good, but you gotta lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good boyfriend that lies, or a bad boyfriend that's honest.
So here's the thing. I think I'm a very reasonable person. Ask my girlfriend, she might say otherwise. I think I'm very reasonable. So, I think I would give a reason. Like if something wasn't flattering on her, I wouldn't just say it is. I would actually have a solution, and I would say this is
That's
why.
a guy thing, though. We don't want
I know.
solutions.
So that's definitely something that
in trouble.
No, I've learned. Girls.
He learned.
These are general things, like obvious blanket statements, but yeah, 'cause a lot of times women don't want you to reason with them.
no,
never do.
Right.
we
They
don't
never
want you
do.
to solve our problems.
Yeah, you just want to
It's-
listen. You just
yes,
want, yeah.
if we're venting,
Yeah.
you just listen. You don't like
Yeah.
if we're like, oh,
You know-
Becky did this.
And you know what? I won't draw that line. Like I'll say I'm like that too. I don't think that's just a female male thing. Like there are definitely times where I'm venting to her, and she starts giving me her her opinion on things. I'm like, why is your opinion even inching into seeing the other person's side of things? Why are you doing that? And
Yeah,
like,
why?
Yeah. So I get it. I'm definitely not saying, oh, women are so like emotional. Like maybe, but that's also because I'm a pretty emotional guy too.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your first question, I think I know when to pick battles, and a lot of times,
Smart man.
there's certain things, and even like after the fight has already, even after the fight has already like kicked, like been sparked, I will do like a cost breakdown analysis in my
Oh,
head.
wow.
Give
Not-
me an example.
not
Give me an
cost-
example of a recent fight that you're able to
Oh man.
kind of like mediate.
He's
a little
like that
bit.
meme that has all the fucking Pythagorean theorem
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all like the different.
I don't know.
like-
A lot. So I mean, that's the thing. A lot of these arguments are so petty or small that they leave my short-term memory.
Oh.
So I try to keep a good perspective on like, okay, is this going to be something that I want to spend the next 2 hours being upset about, especially if we're in a setting where I want to be happy.
Yeah.
Right.
But
And
the
so-
core feeling is there. Like the traps that she lays out for me,
yeah.
where she asks me a question, I'm trying to be honest. Like I could picture any couple.
Yeah, yeah.
I can picture a starving couple in Rwanda, in Africa, with a fucking fabric tent.
Okay.
And this girl is so skinny. She hasn't ate in 2 weeks. Her ribs are popping out and there's flies around her eyes.
God.
And I could picture her asking her man, does this make me look fat? Or does this make me look too skinny?
Yeah.
Her burlap sack. And the guy is still like, what's the right fucking answer to say? She's 70 pounds.
Well, I guess
And
my
whatever he says, it's still good. She's like, you think I'm fat? I'm fucking 70 pounds. I'm about to die. Or he goes, no, you look perfectly skinny in that. She goes, I am going to die. I am 70 pounds. No matter what, I can picture this exact same conversation across the world, and every guy is fucked.
Gio, why do you ask even?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what it is.
What do you want to hear? Because especially if you already know yourself,
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter what we think. You've already decided if you like
you
how
have
you
your
look.
answer.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just need someone to back. So I've told him this a million times already. I'm like, I'm your goddess. I'm perfect.
Right.
Obviously, I
Right.
know I'm not perfect.
Okay.
Like, I know my flaws. I know what I got to work on. I'm not oblivious to those. But I need you to be like my strong backbone in
Right.
my moment of weakness.
Okay.
So if I'm doubting anything, whether that is something as minuscule as like what I'm wearing or something as important as my next like career decision.
Yeah.
If I'm kind of doubting it, like listen for the context or listen to the emotion of what I'm trying to ask.
Right.
And I know that's hard. Absolutely,
It's
that's
fucking hard.
Yeah. Well, then I have another question then. Like, are you open to, like, for example, like if it's an earring thing, like which one, or like which dress should I wear?
Yeah.
Like is there, have you already decided which one you want to wear?
No, she decides after I say it. So if I say A, she goes with B immediately.
Oh man.
Because I think I probably already had like, I think it was like a 70-30 split already, where I'm like 70 going on this.
Yeah.
And I might just need him to just kind of give me, wow, that's a loud siren.
Yeah.
To give me just kind of like a push in the right direction. And when he goes the opposite, I'm like, okay, he's tripping. I'm going to go with this.
Yeah. No, now that I think
waste his time.
I do think about when I am waiting for, you know, my girlfriend to get ready and she's like making these decisions, or I'm wanting to rush her. Like I do usually just take the L, and I'll just say like, whatever you like is probably best. And
But that's not helpful to them, and then they get mad at you.
I mean, if it's like they actually, like, you can tell, like, if they actually just like need your opinion, like sometimes like I'll say so, but like I used to get really riled up about like them taking too long, and then I realized, oh, they're trying to look good in indirectly or even directly sometimes for you too.
Yeah.
And then no matter what, I always enjoy the final product. So it's like, okay, I'll let you have this time.
You're so level-headed. But what really happens when you get riled up? Let's talk about
But before we get there, I want to hold for our first sponsor.
Nice. Okay, so for our first sponsor, it's Third Love, my favorite bra company out there, created by women for women. I absolutely love it. I'm actually wearing it right now.
Ooh,
that's their
sexy.
signature. Thank you. So ladies out there, don't be afraid to buy bras. Don't be wearing the wrong bras. I know I've worn the wrong size my entire bra wearing career, and thanks to Third Love, it only took 60 seconds for me to take an online quiz, all pictures. I got to see where my problem areas were. I got to see what type of boobs I have, and then they give you the recommendation. If the recommendation is wrong, you can return it and get the right one. There's zero risk to you guys, and right now, one second. For all our listeners, you guys are going to get 15% off your first bra. Just go to thirdlove.com/Beaw, BEAW. Get 15% off. Ladies, you guys are not going to regret it. I'm not kidding you guys. I probably had like 15 bras and I could only wear like one or two. So don't hesitate. Stop wearing the wrong bra. Stop letting it dig into your shoulders. Stop letting the fats roll out of the side. Stop letting all the gap in the boob space, like the cup, like all that. That's wrong. Or your boobs just spilling out. That's wrong. Like you don't see, like my boobs would spill out of my bra all the damn time.
And that was my favorite moment every time.
I hated it because my shirts look so weird on me because my bras were just not fitting correctly. Here, everything's tucked in. I still got a nice little plumpy boobie. So for 15% off, go to thirdlove.com/Beaw, BEAW. Again, you guys, 15% off. You have nothing to lose. You don't like it, you take it back, you send it back, and it's all done online. So don't hesitate. Do it right now. That's thirdlove.com/BEAW. Bill.
So, what was your question? You had a question, right?
Yeah, you sound so level-headed, but this sounds like after the fact, like after you've had your bickering battles between each other, and then you come to your conclusion of like, oh man, I shouldn't have rushed her.
Yeah.
Like that seems like an afterthought. Like how are you when you're riled up? So she's getting ready. You know that getting to the location takes 30 minutes.
Got it. Okay.
You're in a rush yourself.
So this is where it would become an argument, because I have this problem. I think all people kind of do, or especially at this stage in our relationship, where I project. So I'll see a flaw here, and then I'll think, oh my God, what is this going to turn into 5 years from now?
Yeah. Whoa. You think all that while you're in the moment?
Or I'll be like, oh, like your time management is bad, and then I project that to, oh my God, how's your time management going to be as a mother? You know, like stuff like that.
In the moment?
I think it's an Asian thing.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah. I
pull me into this world.
No,
what is that?
And I acknowledge that that's very unhealthy and unsafe, and she does it too. So like we both do it. Or like if
you don't need to justify it, man.
Or no, I think
we
so.
accept you.
or
We
if she's
accept
like
you.
messy in a certain area, I'll be like, oh my gosh, is this how you're gonna keep our
Yeah. I think it's a very
Wow.
Asian so back in the day, like I didn't
Yeah.
know how to express thoughts like that in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So I would go in on her and then she would end up making her feel bad. But it'd be something as simple as like, let's say we're supposed to go train. You miss one training session. I'm like, oh, so that's how you're
not driven.
Yeah, you're not driven. That's how you value. That's how you value your fitness. That's how. So I'm like, you lack commitment, lack discipline, lack dedication to everything. All it takes is that one time. But then we hold ourselves to the same standard. Like how committed I am to gymming or being on time or doing whatever, right? So it's just like, as I think growing up Asian, you have like the way your parents explain things to you. Like you
You're
messing
Taiwanese
up.
too, right?
Chinese Taiwanese.
Oh, okay.
The way you mess up in first grade, they're already yelling at you as a senior. In calculus, this is what's happening because you fucked up. You see what you're doing here?
Wow.
1 + 1.
I never actually associated with my parents, but it probably. I mean, everything is associated with your upbringing, right?
Right.
But yeah, definitely like so. Using the example of like getting ready. Let's say I told her, okay, we needed to leave by 7:30, and I already said 7:30 because I knew we actually had to leave by 8.
Yeah,
I do that,
That's
right?
smart.
And then if I know that she had hours before to like get started earlier or like to time manage her day of like going to get her nails done or going to go shopping or whatever, I will get extra annoyed of like how did we get to this point again?
Yeah.
Right. Especially when like I know that she has been able to get ready in like 20 minutes too.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's the
like
fun?
girls have like this secret system of a checklist of like, oh, when I'm going fast, I can do certain things at a certain speed.
Yeah.
And when I want to like look really good, I'm gonna
Yeah.
like take my time.
Yeah.
You know what's
Absolutely.
crazy that I noticed? Girls are so if they're a generally punctual person like Gio is, girls,
Not today.
yeah, girls are on time when they get ready by themselves. Oh, I don't know. Well, she is when she needs to go somewhere by herself in her own.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like she'll generally get there on time.
I
But
see.
for some, like today, we're getting ready together, and somehow I don't know if it's my like unconditional love and warmth. It just makes it
No,
such
not
a like
today.
a.
No.
She every time we have to go somewhere together, I'm always the first one waiting for like, hey, what's the
Well,
time?
also you have to just put some product in your hair.
And he's also
that's it.
very
She
selfish
has
when
to,
he
like,
gets ready.
do all this.
Yeah, tell him,
Yeah.
Phil, tell him. No,
Yeah.
but guys, like at least I don't know. I can't speak for guys, but I can only speak for Bart and what I see from him.
Yeah.
He's a very like I get up, I do my own thing, I'm out the door.
Yeah.
I get up, I do stuff for all of us. So
Oh
I
God,
make
I'm
the
not
bed.
getting it. I'm not getting into this argument.
Like I make the bed, I clean up after myself. Like I do everything. This is the
Oh,
current like
shit.
fight that we're having right now.
Yeah.
I complete a task from A to Z, right? So whether that's something like if I'm washing the dishes, I'm like gonna wipe down all the countertop because it's gonna be
right.
wet. For him, he just literally washes the dish.
Yeah.
The drain is full of food.
Yeah,
And I'm just
yeah.
like, bro, A to Z,
Yeah.
A to Z, A to Z.
I see. No, you know what? It might not even be like men and women kind of thing. It's just personality types, right? So your whole thing
I
about
have a man
He's a
personality
dirty-
type. and
he's
she has
a dirty
woman personality.
well, your thing about like I'm so committed to the gym and you miss one day and blah 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 blah. Like I think you're a very like maybe macro person, and you're able to see like you're always on to the next thing. You will do the minimum requirement for each. You're very efficient, I would say, like with your time. It's like okay, because you want to maximize your day and all your.
Well,
tasks.
I think it depends on what hat I have on.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
like
true.
if I wake up and like let's say the first thing is gym, then I have my athlete hat on, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what do athletes do? Athletes do this, boom, boom, boom. So athletes aren't gonna clean shit out of the drain, whatever. But if I'm like today is cleaner Bart hat on, I'd put that on and I would clean everything A to Z. I might even scrub like little black spots off the wall. So to me, I think because girls can multitask, so they could think about being an athlete, being this all at the same time.
Oh yeah, baby.
For
oh
me,
yeah.
For me, it's like what I'm doing at this second.
Bart, I'm man.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to one thing only.
Yeah, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And then when I'm doing that one thing, nothing else in the world matters at that time. Man.
That's literally what.
Helen makes similar things like observations about me too. Like when I want to do something, like for example, like sometimes like I'm in the shower and I'm like scrubbing like super like detailed. And
Wait, what are you scrubbing? Like
scrubbing like the tiles and everything.
oh,
in the
when you're in the
shower.
bath.
Like
Oh, I
in the
thought you were
shower.
taking a shower, and then I pictured you in the shower.
So sometimes like I'll like in the middle of a shower I will like just like do like little
Start
cleaning
cleaning?
in the shower.
That's very nice.
Anyways, and then like but then like I have other parts of me that are like I'm okay with that being dirty too. Like it really depends.
What's
on just,
dirty for you though?
I don't know. Like I'll leave like socks around.
That's dirty for you.
I never leave socks around.
I have like
Ever.
not junk mail, but I have like a pile of mail that I'm supposed to go through. You know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I never read mail.
I hate mail.
Yeah.
Why does mail still
It's
exist?
I know.
I don't
fuck
even
mail.
like email.
Yeah.
I don't like mail or email.
But there's certain chores that I actually do enjoy. I actually like if I have a big enough sink, I actually do enjoy dishes, and if I have the time, I like.
Oh my god, you're a dream come true.
No, if I have the time, and then I enjoy Swiffering. I like getting dust.
Yeah.
That's it. That I like doing that too.
Well, we've had this. We've talked about this a few times on our podcast. About if you could do, what did we call it? Like the job that like. What is it, like an undesirable job?
Or a blue
like,
collar?
No,
job
not
or
an
something?
undesirable. So like we're all in social media, which is
Yeah.
like this new kind of like newly invented job, right? That didn't exist 10 years ago.
Yeah. A traditional job.
Yeah, if we have to go with a traditional job, what do you think yours would be if you had to pick one tomorrow?
Well, I'd probably be a boba shop owner.
Oh,
No. So you're saying like if Wong Fu never came into play, and I had never felt empowered enough to chase something creative.
Yeah, and you don't have
and
the
it's a minimum wage job.
A minimum
and you
wage.
don't have the following and like marketing to leverage the way you
Do I have a degree, like higher education?
I'll
degree?
tell you what mine is so that you can
Okay,
see.
got it.
And I do have a higher degree, and I still would do this. And this would keep me happy for years.
Okay.
I think. I would want to be like a cashier, like at a grocery store. Yeah.
Have you done cashiering at like Sip and stuff before? Like you can do that every weekend if you want.
Yeah. Well, I think
but
without
Sip is
Yeah.
iPad.
Oh,
She likes
yeah.
buttons.
I do. I
Are you
love
like a
what-
little kid? Ding dong, ding dong.
I love it. I love
You
it.
like that sound? Ka-ching,
I
ka-ching.
love it.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
like
yeah.
the transaction. I like that you get to meet people like at a very. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
very introverted.
Yeah.
So I like that you meet this
true.
people like for just a couple minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
gone.
Ah, I see. And
But
you
I
get-
just like the transaction and
yeah.
buttons.
I actually, when I'm at the cafe, I enjoy cashiering every so often. And yeah, people come in and like they don't even know that the cafe's mine. They're like, "What are you doing here?" And I joke with them. I'm like, "Oh yeah, YouTube wasn't cutting it. Had to pick up a second job."
nice.
I'm like, Phil, you already told me that joke last week.
I'm like, well, you're terrible like with customer recognition. Man, what would it be?
So Bart, I think he wants to
What did you
do
do? What did you say?
detailing or something, right?
So like,
Oh,
so
okay.
like car detailing.
Yeah,
so if someone
yeah.
has like a nice car, it's super dirty. Like
Yeah.
I like kind of like diving into my work.
Okay.
But then later being able to pull back and see it all come together.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
for me, like if it was like either like antiques restorer.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
car detailer, something like that.
Because I was gonna say like, so one of my dream jobs as a kid was to be a Lego designer, like the people that actually
Ooh.
design. And then I found out that their headquarters is in Denmark, and you need like engineering degrees and stuff. Anyways,
Oh.
yeah, it's actually
That's
like
legit.
super competitive to do that.
Wow.
So but I think being like doing something with my hands. So I can imagine like maybe like a line cook, you know.
Oh, cool.
Or like a carpenter, like a contractor.
That's pretty
Like
cool.
when we were doing the remodel for the cafe, I'm not trying to plug all this stuff, but like the cafe.
Go ahead, plug
you know,
away.
it literally gave me so many new skills and perspectives in different industries. Like
You helped with the building of it?
I definitely like where I was allowed to, you know, like
Oh,
obviously
okay.
like I'm not, I don't know how to like, you know, put grouting and stuff, but like a lot
But
of
if
like
you have
the
a
demo-
Chinese contractor, you're allowed to do anything.
no,
Oh, so you
everything
had
was fine.
permits for
Yeah, we had
everything.
permits for
Good for
everything.
you.
Yeah, but like a lot of like the demo stuff and like a lot of the like you know fixtures and things like I enjoyed that. Like I enjoy working with my hands. So it'd be something like that, I guess.
With your
Oh, that's
hands.
Yeah.
awesome. Isn't that crazy? Like
Yeah.
the pressures that we kind of put on ourselves.
Yeah.
And of course we have to make a living and you
Right.
like the status that comes with it. So you have to like always shoot for something
Yeah.
that's like way up there when all you wanted to do is be a carpenter. And
Right.
That's tight.
I could have just been happy. And honestly, that was kind of the motivation to open a cafe, because I felt like, I mean, obviously like as an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever, like you do want to think of big picture scaling, but the catalyst was I want a business that's a little bit more simple than entertainment. And there's honestly something that I really enjoy, you know, with, and I'm sure maybe like you guys can relate to this. I think we talked about this too, where I love how it's just simple, like transactional, instant like gratification.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, today, all I have to do is sell more cups of tea. How do I do that?
Yeah.
$5, here's a cup of tea. That's it. Whereas with like Wong Fu or anything creative, you spend months writing a script, you take all these meetings,
Yeah.
and you don't know where all this work is going or if it will ever go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I like,
Yeah, everything's so faith-based.
I really like how, like like commerce is just like
It's
this
instant.
and that,
Yeah.
right? I actually like I worked at a Target when I was in high school. That's my first job ever. And like, so I was like, that was my first experience as a cashier. And I was like, oh, like this is like really fun too. Like I see what you're saying. But yeah, like these are all like kind of the seeds that made me even want to, I think like Wong Fu kind of like was very mentally and emotionally draining. And I was like, oh, I mean, now a cafe and brick and mortar is like draining in a completely different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
doing Wong Fu for like how long? Over 10? Over 12?
So technically 15 if you count our very first video in college. So as a freshman, yeah.
So that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Did you ever feel burnout or ever feel like, man, I want to quit or not do this anymore?
So, and this is, a lot of people might not like this, but like I don't feel burnout, or maybe I just don't categorize what I'm feeling as burnout. And like maybe this is just a personality type, but like I'm so restless. And like, so if I'm not doing something, like I want to be
doing something,
or I feel like someone else is doing something and getting ahead of me.
So oh, like, wow. That's very Asian, I think.
Is that Asian or is that just, it's type A? I don't know. Or like driven. Okay. Don't say Asian. We're just positive qualities. That's so racist of you. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm offended.
I'm a Quan now. I can't be racist.
But no, like even like sometimes like on holidays, I'm like, dude, holidays are like a perfect time to get ahead of everyone else.
Whoa.
And that's terrible. But
it's not terrible. That's just who you are.
That's so Asian.
Well, I hate that. I hate that right now. Yeah. If you don't know like work-life balance, then you're wrong.
Right. So
and I'm like, oh, that sucks. That's just a personality, like yourself.
I do understand the value of work-life balance, and I do seek it out for myself. But I feel like if there's like a bank or a well, like I only need like 5 or 10%. Like I just need like one evening like kickback or something, and I'm refilled. Wow. Some people need like full day or half day or whatever.
That's me too. Because we had this talk about like the weekends and how important it is to us.
Yeah.
And then so like if she had a really hard work week, she prefers maybe a day or even two.
She's also being the mother of a child.
No, this is before the child.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Well then no excuses. Yeah.
Or before like she needs like a day or two of just like vegging out, just laying on the couch.
Yeah.
Well, that's because of people. People drain me.
Oh.
Like for me, I just need like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Then I'm pretty good.
Same. I actually like I don't watch like any. I don't even have cable TV. Like I have like just Netflix and Hulu. And like I'll cap myself off at like one episode or something. Like I don't feel any desire to like binge or anything. I feel very lazy if I do that. But with Wong Fu, yeah. So with Wong Fu, like I never felt like, oh, this is too much. It was more just like, like when is what like it was more like where is all this work going, and how do I do it better to make sure I have more control of where it's going, because art and entertainment, there's so much that's not under your control. And that was one thing that I was more frustrated with, and still like to this day, like I think that's just what's perpetually going to be the situation in art and entertainment or anything creative. Like you're never going to be satisfied. There's always one more a higher mountain in the distance that you want to like achieve or accomplish. But I think like there was definitely times where I was like, okay, maybe this is not the best route anymore, so maybe we should go with something else. So it was never like, oh, this is too much. It was more just like, is this even the right thing? So I remember right when we graduated, this was even before there were ads on YouTube. I thought like we had already, it's funny, like at that time I had thought Wong Fu had already passed and gone by. Like we had our college years, we graduated, and there was no industry for digital content, no industry for social media. Instagram wasn't even invented yet. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do one more, low budget feature film like we did our student film, and I'm just going to call it.
Was that
like,
the Yellow Fever one?
No, so this was like 2 years after Yellow Fever. Like we made a student feature film. You probably don't know it. It was called A Moment with You. We toured it around the country like the year after we graduated. We got back and it was like, okay, now what? We were doing weddings. We were doing local commercials to like pay the bills. And so like I was like, okay, maybe this was summer 2007. I was like, okay, maybe this Wong Fu thing is over. Like we had like a fun college run,
Yeah.
And so my attitude was, okay, I'm just going to do one more thing. And in doing that one more thing, like it just kind of it opened more doors. It allowed us to continue exploring, and that kind of became like a mantra of some sort of like, okay, like just do one more thing.
Oh wow.
And it's
I feel like that's entertainment.
Kind of, yeah.
Like even no matter how much it sucks, you just do that one more audition, one more open mic, one more film. And then like I saw a commercial where like Alicia Silverstone now has her own series.
Oh, really?
Like you just see these random things come back, like where the fuck have you been the last 20 years?
They've been living their life and just I think like that's where passion has to come in and take over like logic. I think like a person who's more risk adverse or logic driven, they'll be like, okay, this logically makes no sense. Why am I doing this? But I think for people like us, we are driven by wanting to make our own opportunities and the potential for what we can create. Like that's what drives us, I guess.
That's beautiful. And on that note, we're going to take a quick little break.
Wow. I'm like so good with these like conclusive statements.
All right, cool. And our second sponsor is by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of amazing classes covering dozens of creative and entrepreneurial skills. And I love this because I think the day and age where you try to devote 4 years of your life to a big academia university just to learn a skill or even theory that's not really practical, I think it's kind of over.
Applicable.
Yeah, it's applicable. It's kind of over because I think like nowadays, like even for me as a boss who's hiring people, I don't really care so much about the legacy of the place you got your education from. I care more about, can you perform this specific task or these specific array of tasks at a very, very high level. And that's what I love about Skillshare is you can pick and choose all the skills that you want. So if you want to be the photographer that can also write amazing captions and copy so that you can be a blog expert, that's awesome. Pick and choose the things that you want to do.
They have like thousands and thousands of classes.
Yeah, thousands across all kinds, creative, entrepreneurial. For me, what I would want to do now is, so I'm way more in-depth hands-on in design now in Barbell Brigade, and I feel kind of bad because I'm always like drawing these ugly pictures on napkins. But if I could even know a basic level of Illustrator or maybe Photoshop, then I can get my notes a little bit closer to my vision to help out my team. So I might even be taking some of these classes, but I think it's so awesome. And right now they have 2 months free for all BeawCast listeners. Just go to Skillshare.com/Beaw, BEAW for 2 months free. Skillshare.com/Beaw, Skillshare.com/Beaw to get your 2 months for free. Go check that out. Link below and go pick and choose the exact classes that you want to do. All right, and now we're back. And another question I wanted to ask too was, so I think it's recently where you made it public about your girlfriend.
Oh, back to the girl talk, relationship talk. Yeah.
No, because like
yeah.
Because I remember like so I know you've always dated, of course, like off camera, and you have your own personal life.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until recent where I see you like posting about your girlfriend. Like what was the catalyst for that you're like, you know what, we can be public about this?
Arguments. No, I'm just kidding. Why aren't you putting me on, bro?
Yeah.
No, it's actually funny. Like I think back to like, past girlfriends, and it's like clockwork almost. Like all of them start off by saying, yeah, I don't care about social media.
Oh.
I don't need you to post about me. And then like, several months in or a year in, they're like, then they start to get restless. Like, oh, what are you trying to hide?
All girls are the same.
Yeah.
I was never like that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because I put you on since day one.
True.
And then she started getting more followers than you. You're like, oh, put me on, tag me.
He promote me.
Yeah. But I think with Helen, I think part of it was just time. Like a big reason why it wasn't like I was never proud of them or I didn't want to put them out there. It was more just like this sounds bad too. Like I was afraid if things happen, then there'd be like a
for
cleanup,
sure.
it'd be public. And I know some YouTubers thrive on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just not
they
me.
get in fake relationships just so they can do the cleanup.
It's crazy, right?
Views, yeah.
Right. Oh, we're breaking up, and
yes.
And I'm not saying that some of them aren't real and whatever, but I'm just saying like
I'm saying that.
I just wasn't. That wasn't like what I wanted to do.
Well, that and then just because they don't understand, because we've been in it since like the beginning, and they don't know the burden that also comes with it.
Yeah, so that's actually in
the
beginning when we first started talking about like, oh yeah, why haven't you posted about me? And then she's like, is it because you want to maintain like a bachelor like image? And,
hell yeah.
And I was like, yeah, so many DMs. I don't get any DMs. But like, I told her, I don't think you actually know what you're asking for.
Right.
I think you think you just want me to be public display of affection.
Yeah.
But once like you're my last line of defense of like some kind of privacy.
Right.
Right. And so once we open that up, now we're going to have to like make second accounts and stuff, you know, like now we're going to have to like be mindful. Like now I actually do tell her, hey, don't post that on story. I don't want that of me. And she gets frustrated with that.
What do you tell her not to post on story?
No, like sometimes if I'm like,
so familiar.
what do you tell her? You guys are everything. No, but there's definitely.
I think he's talking about what happened in the vlog.
Yeah, but keep going.
But you know what I mean? Like and so like, I'm like, well, this is what you wanted. But I will say that overall the net positive is I am really glad that people can see that, you know, we are happy and that I have found someone. And but I also am very much, I feel like I'm like you guys, like I'm a realist. I don't like projecting things on social media that are false or that aren't authentic. So, you know, even with some of our posts sometimes, like I'll say like, yeah, like we fight, you know, like, or like this wasn't easy, you know, and of course people want to put their best picture forward, right? So I try to be mindful of that, but overall, like I think, yeah, it's just like a protection. And now it's fun. Now I like that, you know, people know I'm human and that I'm not like this weird reclusive, you know.
Yeah.
It does
workaholic.
It does give me some like humanness, and she does point that out a lot. She's like, look, all the photos with me and him like do so much better than you by yourself. Sad, you know. Like I'm like, all right, fine. But it was a challenge in the beginning.
She has a pretty decent following. Did you help build that, or did she have her own social media before you guys?
Yeah, no. So she was very, very private, like private account, all this stuff in the beginning when I first met her, and like I like how this is becoming about her. Like this is her plug, but no, I think her story is interesting because she's from Boston, came from a blue collar family, you know, went straight to like a yappy lifestyle, like working, you know, in finance.
I know what yappy is.
Yeah, you know what yappy, young Asian professional,
yes.
but basically like an Asian person that goes down the very traditional, stereotypical career paths.
Yeah.
And she always told me, like, you know, when we finally got together, you know, that she always felt like she could do more and creatively, and she was this personality, but because of her surroundings in Boston and like, you know, her upbringing, no one ever encouraged that, and she never saw an example of that being a viable option. And it wasn't until moving to LA and being around so many creatives, and obviously, you know, being with me too, that I was the one that was telling her, like, dude, I see what you're talking about, and you do have so much potential. So like, let me help bring it out of you. And actually, she was very adverse to it at first. Like, even though she wanted me to post about it, it wasn't like she wanted me to make her an influencer.
Right.
She just wanted me to just be, you know, be proud of her. Yeah,
yeah.
Be supportive. But like, in terms of me saying, hey, like, you can actually utilize, you know, your perspective, your experience, your personality, your voice, and it actually will help people. That was something that I definitely took a couple years to like bring out of her.
Yeah.
And now she's just starting to believe in herself a little bit more.
Yeah.
She started a podcast with two other friends called Asian Boss Girl, ABG.
That's clever.
It's a play on words. It's
Asian baby girl, right?
Asian baby girl, turning into Asian boss girl.
That's cool.
And that's like really taking off, and that's me like kind of showing them, like, look, like this was always in you. And I hope that inspires like other people too that are afraid or nervous about trying things. Like we were just actually talking about it last night, and she's like, a lot of people probably are like me, but they don't have a you. Like Phil. They don't have someone that already believes that it's possible, already has some level of access and skill set creatively. And so she acknowledges that, like, I did help out a lot.
Are you gonna get 10%?
I'm like, I hopefully, you know, I get 100% by you know, affiliation.
Yeah.
I just want to go to the parties and stuff.
Yeah.
No, but
I never got that speech from her.
yeah, dude. Hey, bitch. Right?
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty awesome by myself. I tell them, like, you're lucky you're still around.
But I hope, like, that's what
we all get different speeches.
I hope that's what, you know, what you guys do, what Wong Fu, what all of these influencers kind of do is, like, we can have like a more direct effect of like saying, hey, you know, like, even if you don't have a friend or a direct person in your life that shows you that you, like directly that you can do it, you can see it in other people.
Yeah.
And that is a little bit harder because you don't have someone holding your hand and like constantly pushing you. But, you know, you guys are proof that, you know, you can, I mean, you were working at a bank.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm the exact opposite.
Right. Yeah.
We're
not talking about you. We're talking about, yeah.
Let's talk about me.
No, when people are like, oh, I want to open a gym. Like, can you help me? And I'm like,
say, don't do it.
Don't do it, dude. It's fucking hard.
Right.
Or they go, oh, I want to get into entertainment. What do you think I should do? I'm like, just don't do it. Trust me.
Wow, you're so jaded.
It's really hard.
I totally see what you're saying. Like these days, actually, like when I meet fans that are like, I'm in film school because of you, I go, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like, I hope you know what you're getting into. Like, cause it's true. It's a grind, and it's not the easy life. But at the same time, I have lots of friends who are, you know, deep into their careers, and they look at what I'm doing as like, oh, it's so cool. And they might think that their job is like, you know, very like they became more complacent or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the grass is greener.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know, kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
So I was in the military before.
Yeah.
And then recently, like I'm over this thought, but like last year I was talking a lot with Gio about how like, oh, I kind of want to go back in the reserves and like serve at least once a month. And I think now just talking with you, my realization is because entertainment is such a wild west where there's no control over what anything is happening like you can be an overnight viral success.
Yeah.
Or nothing could happen for 10 years.
Right.
And there's no one in control of that.
Right.
And you can just keep doing you. Versus in the military, everything is extremely merit-based, right?
Yeah,
like if you
yeah.
have this physical fitness, you're going to get this.
Yeah. This many years, you will be promoted or something.
If you jump on a grenade, you're going to get the Medal of Honor, regardless if you're black, Middle Eastern, white, Asian. Like everything is merit-based. There is no color. It's like the most racist and non-racist place in the world.
Right.
But because of that, and you know that, like I knew exactly what to do to get to the next rung on the ladder.
Yeah.
And I think that type of control was what I was kind of like missing a little bit.
Right.
And I think when people are asking me questions like how do I get into gym or entertainment, I can already tell they're looking for that next rung, and I'm telling them it's not there.
Right.
There's a lot of trap rungs where you're like, aha, oh shit, oh no, and they're just grabbing on wrong ones, and it's a fucking Looney Tunes ladder.
Right.
And so I think I just tell people, don't do it. This is a fucking tricky ladder, dude.
If you're the personality type that needs a step-by-step plan, then you can't do this stuff. Like this is,
or you can, but you just can't be in the creative space where you're building it by yourself. I mean, you could probably go into it. Like they could probably work for Wong Fu because it's already kind of set out.
But even for us, like we're still figuring things out on a day to day.
It's really hard. I think if you need, like, let's say if you join an agency.
What do you think Wong Fu is right now?
I think it's so structured.
Your guys' office, you guys have 3 offices. Okay, so one of us
we're
here is
so
doing
poor.
it right.
I think we're doing
Are
it wrong.
you kidding me, guys? Stop.
No, like even with like an agency, which is like the more management business side of entertainment, you can be that agent and you kind of know how to work your way up to like, I don't know, from like mailroom to assistant agent to agent. But then all it takes is signing that next Kevin Hart and boom, you shoot up, right? So even in that world, it's still wild west too.
That's why I think like a lot of, you know, Asian Americans specifically like choose to go down these the academic route because that is purely merit based. You spend 4 years in this college, study this thing, you will get this degree. This degree will let you automatically be acceptable to go for these jobs, right? I mean, after that, then it becomes like a little bit more of like uncertain because you have to like climb the corporate ladder or whatever. But like if you want to be a doctor, just pass this test, pass your boards, show up to your rotations, and you will be a doctor.
It's going back kind of to like that Asian thinking where like you see Helen do something and you're like, oh, is that the kind of mother you're gonna be? I think with the Asian mind or whatever, it's like you look at it and you're like, okay, if I do this, I could already picture my life as a 60-year-old. Like, okay, cool, I'm cool with that.
Right.
Versus in entertainment, like I honestly don't know where I'm gonna be in 5 years or another 5 years or another 5
but
years.
I do tell people though that like, you know, like using, you know, med school as an example, like, okay, cool, it's gonna take you 10 years to get through this. Med school included all the way to being like a certified doctor. So the difference is you know that if you do all the things you need to do 10 years, put in the work, you will be a doctor. Same thing, I think in entertainment, if you work just as hard in entertainment for 10 years, you will see some level of success. It's just that it's not guaranteed. But
and the difference is the structure's not there.
And the structure's not there. But I would say I would say success in general is just time based. Right. You know, like, yes, there are certain things where like a big break can give you an unfair advantage. But
that's like
or whatever.
a 0.1%.
Right. But do you know how many content creators out there that have way more subscribers and views and they go, I look up to you, Bart. And I'm like, how did you surpass me then?
Well, I guess
because they played with slime.
Damn it.
Where's JK Slime?
I'm like, you've been on YouTube for 3 years and you have 10 million subscribers? What the fuck?
I know who exactly you're talking about right now.
Well, I guess for you, Phil, like, kind of talking about this and how you started, YouTube and how it was all uncertain, and there's, just everything that you did there, and then having the balls, because honestly it takes balls to go, okay, I've established some sort of traction and footing in this space. Now I'm going to move to a completely opposite realm, which is now it's like brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Like, how did you do that? Like, what?
Well, luckily, I definitely didn't do it by myself. I have a great business partner named Eric, who's also a Wang. No coincidence there, just a lot of Wangs in the world. Yeah. We've known each other for a while. You guys know him,
right?
And he's like one of those friends that's like an enabler. Like, he just always knows things and knows facts and knows people or whatever. And so he was at a place in his career where he
wanted like a natural producer.
Right. And like, he was at a place where he wanted to like shift from his career to something that was like building something from the ground up. And so he's always had an interest in hospitality and food, just like me, and we had similar ideas and similar work ethics too. So we kind of just made this commitment to each other, like, let's make this happen. And we just kind of figured it out as we went along. We had like some mentors, like I reached out to, you guys, or Bart, I
don't remember receiving a phone call.
You were busy, baking.
You were scared of asking the wrong thing.
So will this boba make me look fat? The boba guys actually were huge mentors too. Like they gave us a lot of good advice. So, but yeah, I mean, first time operators, we were just figuring it out as we went along. But we trusted our instincts. We trusted that we knew at the very base what it takes to run a good business. What people want. Marketing obviously was on our side. So we just had to show up with a good product, right? So
that's hard.
And but that's,
you make it sound so easy.
But we were really excited about our products. We worked on them for over a year, like in test kitchens and stuff. And I was actually like super afraid the whole 2 years we were developing.
And what are your products?
So like, I mean, like, so we have like, obviously we have drinks that, we don't use any powders, we don't use any flavored syrups.
These are teas or just all drinks?
All of our drinks. Yeah, teas. So teas and our milk based drinks.
Okay.
So we use real milk and everything. But then our food, we have these hybrid, I call it like ABC food, American born Chinese food, where you have like mapo tofu on top of tater tots.
They're actually really good.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We have a Taiwanese fried chicken sandwich.
It has a runny egg on it with like cheese and like
it's like chili cheese fries, but like, Chinese style.
It's bomb.
So the whole time I was like, oh my God, in this Instagram age, someone's going to do this in the next 2 years or whatever. And thankfully, like, nothing
so you got to make it over the holidays so you can get it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was working on it and we were working on it over the holidays. So anyways, yeah, like, so we were really, excited about the products. And at the very least, I just was like, okay, at the very least, we can have a solid cafe that it really is like one of those things where you see other people do it. And I'm not talking about like you guys, like you see like some of these like really old school cafes and like the bathroom's nasty, like, the product's not that great. And I still go to those places because I have no choice. I love getting work done at like, boba shops and stuff. So I was like, at the very least, I can do this. And that mentality is actually something that has driven me through like a lot of my life or business. Like there was a lot of things where I saw someone else do it and I was like, I could do that, like, so even people don't know this, but like Wong Fu at the very beginning when I was in college, we started with like lip sync videos, like really, really like 480p, shot on digital camera lip sync videos. But that was because I saw these other guys at UCLA doing the same thing. And I watched that. I'm like, I could do that. And so we did it. And then I was right. And so like that kind of kept going. And now even whether it's like the cafe, I'm seeing like, really poorly run cafes, I could do that. Now even like in, Wong Fu is like, it's this, thriving YouTube channel. Now I'm thinking about on like a more traditional sense, like, the Hollywood system or, TV shows and movies. I see movies that are made and I look at the people that are making them. I'm like, I could do that. Like, why am I not doing that? So that's kind of what's driving me.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah. So whether that's the other thing. I feel like I'm a very reasonable person. So there are definitely times when I look at something, I'm like, I can't do that. and I know to stay in my lane.
What is something you looked at you can't do that?
Like for example, like if we're talking about movies, I watch like Inception, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, I can't do that.
Like, my favorite,
maybe not at this point in my life.
It took 10 years though.
Right.
My favorite Christopher Nolan movie is Prestige.
Oh yeah, so good.
And then I've watched it like a billion times, and I'm like, what the Because his storytelling is actually through two journals, right?
Yeah.
Through Christian Bale's journal and then Hugh Jackman's journal, and
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
narrative
yeah,
that goes
yeah,
back
yeah.
and forth.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay, cool, I kind of get it, and
Yeah.
then that's kind of like the transition from scene
Yeah.
to scene, from world to world.
Yeah.
Then at the end, when there's a scene where Hugh Jackman is reading the Christian Bale thing, and he goes, aha. So his secret is here because Scarlett Johansson gave it to him. And then pretty much at the end, he goes, you silly motherfucker. You didn't think that I wrote this specifically
Really,
for
so,
you,
yeah.
knowing that you're going to read it?
Yeah.
My secret isn't in here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, Christopher Nolan, you're killing me. Like, my brain just
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
exploded. I'm like, okay, I'm never going to be able to make a movie like this. So I'm going to aim
Yeah.
way lower.
Well, so there's certain movies where I watch, I'm like, I'm just gonna enjoy this, you know.
Yeah.
What about Crazy Rich Asians?
So Crazy Rich, like that's a good example.
question.
Like I
You're like, I could do this.
no, I really enjoyed the film. I think it was a great step for community.
Oh, I like it. I'm reading between the lines here. He didn't like it very much.
Well, no,
guys.
wait, no, I did. It was a really good movie. Like
Yeah.
I think for it had to shoulder so many expectations,
Yeah.
unfair expectations that only we could like you had to deal with because it was like the first film in 25 years. Sorry, like major motions like picture studio film.
Do you think movies
know?
when they're presented, they need to be evaluated with the expectations that it needs to shoulder?
I don't think it's not a should or shouldn't. It just is because like it's going to be a public work, and
Yeah.
no matter whether it should or shouldn't, people are going to find what they want to find out of it.
Yeah,
and
true.
and
That's
media
Yeah.
and,
Art's shared.
and media
true, yeah.
and media definitely does affect culture. So
Yeah.
I totally understand why a lot of Asian Americans look to this film of as like being the messiah, and like if this doesn't solve all of Asian Americans' problems and represent every Asian, then I hate it, right?
Yeah.
But the point of it is, and we're seeing in the year since, the point of it was just to be something that opens the door.
Absolutely.
And it killed it. It got an A+. Like if it bombed, we would have been in the same boat that we were the last 25 years, right?
Yeah.
So since then, there's been so many great movies that have come out. We have like Farewell that's coming out like just this month. We had
That's the one
Always
with
Be My Maybe, Aquafina, yeah, Always Be My Maybe. We had like Searching and all these other films, and that was the whole point of it. And so I do think that it was successful in that sense. Whether or not, like, when I look at it like I could do that, I'm like, if I had the same resources and the same experience that John, the director, had, I think I would be able to step into those shoes. But I have not had that experience yet.
Yeah,
so.
you don't have to be humble. You could do that. That's tight.
So yeah, maybe
I'll say
like
it for you.
the Asian in me is like, no. John had the experience and he did a great job. There are definitely movies out there where I'm like, okay, yeah, I could do that. But the problem is, and this is where. No, the catch is I didn't. That's the thing.
It's like those people that look at
modern art.
Yes, and
There's-
they're that line. They're like, I could have done that
Right.
shit.
So
But you
there's a
did
great
it.
saying where it's like, yeah, it's like modern art is the equation of like I could have done that plus you didn't.
Right.
Equals modern art, right? So I can't hate on it. Like I can only be someone that consumes it, appreciates, supports it, and then uses that as motivation to be like, okay, well, I need to prove that I can do it too, right?
Yeah.
So, and luckily, because these movies are doing so well and the directors and filmmakers are doing them so well, it's continuing the movement to allow even me to have a place. So I'm very appreciative of just being even part of the conversation or equation in some way, shape, or form.
I think it's the opposite. I think we created a place
Hey!
for crazy rich Asians to have a platform and have
You know
an
what?
audience.
John would agree to that. Like
He didn't say Just Kidding Films. That's what I want to hear him say.
You want to say thank you, Just Kidding Films, for
Yeah.
making Crazy Rich. I
Yeah.
totally agree with
Uncle
that.
Sam, Uncle Chin helped me.
There were characters in Crazy Rich that were Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
And Uncle. No, like and
You're
it's
so
true.
stupid.
I think and not to like pat ourselves on the back, but like
Why
fuck.
not?
But fuck, like let's pat ourselves on the back.
Please,
We-
why?
we-
You're so humble.
We we kind of fostered an audience to be accustomed to even seeing faces.
Yeah.
And then also desire that too. So
Yeah.
I feel like we created a hunger for a large portion of the audience that was the base, at least. And so once they were given a product of that caliber, they were on top of it, right?
I have something to add to
Yeah.
that.
Unfortunately, we weren't the ones that got the opportunity to be first in line to make that.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I also wish that right after the movie that all of our phones started going off and they're like, hey,
You have a deal.
you want to make a movie? But no, it doesn't happen like that.
And just a quick break for our final sponsor. This is pretty late.
I thought
No,
we
that's
only
good.
have 2 sponsors.
I thought we had 3.
No, there's only 2.
Ah, fuck my
Let's
life.
try it as if we're still going.
Well, it'll be Barbell Brigade.
Okay.
Or it
Oh,
could
okay,
be, it
got
could be
it.
you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
But yeah, going off. Can I just jump right back
Yeah.
in? Yeah, the phones didn't ring though, right?
Yeah, no.
And I kind of felt the same thing too for a little bit, and then I realized why, and the reason is because that's a completely different system. The Hollywood system has been running with the same group and the same people for decades, generations.
Yeah, generations.
And there's some Asians that are sprinkled in there, and so they got the first call. They got to do it, and so when the rest of that system is like, oh, we need Asians, they're gonna look in their own system.
Yeah.
Because that's the easiest.
Yeah.
For them to.
Well, and it's a solid call because you know that those people are actually doing something,
Right.
so it's less risk.
And they also know how to work in your system.
Right, exactly.
To them, we are like
A gamble.
Yeah, we're a gamble. We're rogues, whatever. So we have
Yeah.
to prove it on like in our world,
Right.
that we belong. And that's what That's why like independent filmmakers, like that's why like what Justin Chon did is like so inspiring to me too.
Yeah.
Like I look at what Justin's doing and I'm like, man, like that's what motivates me a lot too. So we have to kind of play into their rules a little bit, but also hopefully retain the edge that we have.
Well, yeah, you
know?
have to understand the rules in order to break the rules,
Right,
right?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. And yeah, I would attest a lot of the Asian faces and stuff that are happening now to a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Because growing up, for me at least, like I grew up in the hood. I grew up with a lot of Latinos. But because my mom was keen to go and like, wait, like I can already see the route that my daughter's going to go. If I put her in this school district with these types of people, she's going to make these types of friends or whatever. Let me put her in a school that is not in our district, close to where, because she was a teacher.
Yeah.
So I went into Montebello instead of going into like the Monterey Park, Montebello 66 area, instead of being in the 213-323 area code, which is
and
East
then you
LA.
got brainwashed with the Asian fever.
Well, and I connected a lot with Asians
Right.
because I grew up very traditionally, and there's a lot of strong tradition in Asians.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't anything crazy, and
Yeah.
I was just like, cool, this is who I know.
Right.
But then I didn't realize that I wasn't seeing the Asians that I knew and that I grew up with
Yeah.
on television. I didn't
Right.
get it.
Right.
Because I was seeing my people's faces on
Right.
there. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but
It wasn't a lot, yeah, but-
I still saw it.
Right. Y'all had Selena.
Huh?
You had Selena.
Yeah. No, we had a lot. I had
Yeah.
Salma Hayek. Like, I
Oh,
had a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people to
yeah.
look up to.
George Lopez.
George Lopez, right. So I had a lot of people to look up to. And then when I started seeing what was happening with YouTube, I'm like, oh shit, this is actually pretty cool. And I didn't even know that they were Asian gangsters until I met Bart and Cho. I honestly did
They're
not.
your first impression of Asian gangsters.
Yeah, like I mean, just the stories that they would tell, and then I
Yeah.
met because before we got together, I met the circle of friends that I had,
Right.
and I was like, holy shit, like this is like an underworld for Asians, and I thought Asians were just so clean cut and like followed the rules and did all that stuff. I'm like, but they're ghetto, and that was so cool for me. So
Yeah.
the fact that like I got to see that, I got exposed to that through YouTube, like I would really say that that's what really did open up
That's
a lot
awesome.
of people's eyes.
And I think, and what's exciting to me is that there's still a lot to uncover too.
Absolutely,
and that's
dude.
that's something that we feel at Wong Fu, or I definitely feel on my shoulders. Like a lot of people, for some reason, Wong Fu has gone to some level of status where people are scrutinizing us in terms of our representation too. They're like,
Because like you're not breaking the mold.
or like you guys are only representing a certain type of Asian, and
Well, duh.
and there's a part of me that I'm like, well, that's just us,
Right.
And we can't represent everyone, but at the same time, I'm trying to be reasonable here, and I'm like, okay, I see that you probably think we're this massive company that has a lot of money to make lots of stuff, and we're keeping out certain types or groups of Asia, America, or Western Asians, and that's just not true. Like I wish we had all the resources in the world to tell, to make an entire LGBTQ plus story, or to talk about the Hmongs in like Michigan, or to talk about Cambodians, coming over as refugees. Like there's so many other parts of Asian American, Asian culture, whatever, that has yet to be uncovered, and we have only scratched the surface. You like JK, us, whoever else out there that's doing it, like we're only one type, and obviously, like, yeah, we do need to represent ourselves, but there's just so much more too, and that's what encourages me, like, about the future of representation for us. That it's not, I hope it's not just a wave. I hope that we get past the point of where each movie represents the entire race.
I don't know if that can happen though.
I think it must happen.
Because it doesn't even happen in white culture though.
What are you talking about? There's like there's so many like every movie basically, like when you watch a movie with like white people and you're not like, oh, this movie represents all white people. You just watch, if you see Seth Rogen, you're like, oh, that's just Seth Rogen. You're not like, oh, Seth Rogen, the white guy representing all white people.
Right.
That's what I mean.
But like Goodfellas,
Oh, I see.
Goodfellas
I
is
gotcha.
just Italians, maybe a couple Italian Jews, Italian Irish.
Yeah.
But you don't go, well, where's the Scandinavians at? Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that very slice of life of that story.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you.
Yeah, no. So I think like it's just when you get to a point where we get to just be sad or we get to just be funny, you know, like that's and we're getting there like faster than I think you know, we other communities have had to like endure, but like it definitely is you know, a destination that we should have in mind where it's not like everything is about like us being Asian, right? I think like it's funny to me like how, you know, if you're a white person in a movie, like you don't have to talk about your whiteness, right?
That'd be funny though.
Yeah, that would. It'd
like
be funny, but also possibly like offensive.
Like
but
a white privilege movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, you know,
that'd be pretty
it's
hilarious.
like Reverse Get Out. Yeah.
Yeah,
A white person
yeah.
should make Reverse Get Out.
That'd be tight.
Yeah. Someone realizing, oh my God, I have so much privilege. But like, yeah, like I think with like
Joe's girlfriend knows that.
That's
if
very,
we get pulled
that's very
over,
woke of her.
If we get pulled over, she always volunteers to talk to the police
that's
officer.
awesome.
She's like,
dude.
I'll probably get us out of this.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I'm like, that is awesome to know that you have that power.
And that's also
and utilize it.
sad.
Yeah, it's sad, but like if you can't help it, at least utilize it.
Yeah.
That's when you talk about like allies. We're getting into like super like PC whatever like talk, but like if you talk about allies, like the best thing you can do is utilize
a white person.
No, if you or yourself,
understands.
yeah, like and that goes to like everyone has a certain level of privilege in some silo, right?
Absolutely.
Asian people have a privilege in certain areas, you know, Latino, Black, there's certain levels of privilege in different places, right? For example, like Jeremy Lin is like gets laughed at, you know, in the NBA.
Yeah.
So he definitely is lacking in a certain privilege where his counterparts might, you know, excel, right? So it all depends. And anyways, that's going down like a very much more nuanced conversation. But anyways, going back to like the films and representation for Asians, like I'm excited to see like where we go from here. It's only been a year from Crazy Rich, you know, and obviously I think YouTube and digital influencers and platforms still play a major role because movies come very slowly, right? And so we can't be waiting on Hollywood to just greenlight and continue to give us that next chance. The great thing about social media, YouTube, whatever, like, is that we can create those opportunities for ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's why Awkwafina kind of shot up, at least from my own perspective. I felt like she kind of came out of nowhere. And it's really dope for me because what that communicates to me is, wow, like people are recognizing that there's her type out there, and her type is someone that's very loud. She kind of has like this like urban feel to her, and it's something completely left field to what I've been seeing the Asian women that are in media that are being like put in the spotlight. So the fact that she's shooting out so quickly and rising to the top as fast as she is, I'm just like, oh shit, like y'all, like this is tight for you guys.
And what's cool is like,
because it's so rare.
Yeah, and what's cool is like she's portraying something like thousands of Asian girls that I know. Yeah. So she didn't make up a person, you know, like she's just being herself, and then people are identifying with her. Like almost every.
Well, and Hollywood's allowing her to be herself, which I think is sick.
And that's new, and that took a change in culture and society for sure. Like people talk about like, you know that being too PC is like hurting people. I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, like it is progress, and it does help. Like even like, you know, like the whole like Black Ariel thing that recently happened.
Oh yeah.
And like people were like saying like, even I even had Asian people that were like, man, like, you know, to be honest, even if it was an Asian, I wouldn't have liked that. And there's a part of me that I'm like, what are you talking? Like, I see what you're saying, but like you realize that this will only help you in the future.
I get the argument.
Right? I get the argument, but
it's nostalgic for them. This is their childhood, but it's like when you really take a step back and you look at your child, it's like, why do you have to look up?
Yeah, why did we expect that, right?
Yeah, like why do you have to look up to a lot of people that don't look like you? Like, it's unfortunate that it happened, but yes, that is your childhood. But let's change that.
So
for, like,
you would be down with a Mickey Mouse with 2 dicks?
That's different.
Well, that's vulgar though.
Okay.
Well, first of all,
and
did Mickey Mouse even have a dick? Like,
well, Mickey Mouse is a mouse. I don't identify with
boy.
the mouse.
He has a girlfriend.
Well,
maybe. No, he's a mouse. You're putting that gender on him.
I've seen mice dicks before.
Me too.
What kind of pets do you have at your house? I have a question for you, Bar, real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're like.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We'll let you know.
One thing that kind of clicked for me only recently and was acknowledging and leaning into like my own voice. And I know, okay, let me think of how to say that. For example, like, even though a lot of people were following Wong Fu for a long time, like, I still believe that, oh, I'm not that special, or like, you know, like, I'm just like, you know, we just got lucky or whatever. But only recently have I kind of been allowing myself to think, oh, I guess like what I have to say is unique or is important or is just special.
It's beautiful, man.
And I don't know if it's because like, as you know, as Asian kids, we're from a young age, you're just taught you're not special. Yeah. You're like, don't stand out. Yeah. You know?
Absolutely. I felt that too.
Like,
as a minority, especially because our parents migrated to this country and you want to assimilate, you don't want to stick out.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. And it's beautiful that you finally came to that and you're like, that's tight. So
I'm just saying, like, it took me actually like a long time, like, only just like
you're almost like 40 ago. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But like, that's even why Yappy, like our show last year even happened, because like it was the first time that I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna like be myself or write something that's very, very specific to me, you know, like, even though like other things I've written were very personal, like emotionally or relationship.
You were thinking about a lot of other,
right? But I was still trying to be like this general person. But like with Yappy, I was like, you know, I'm going to be, and maybe it's seeing like, you know, shows like Insecure or Master of None and, you know, Ali Wong or whatever. I'm like, oh, when we allow ourselves to like accept that we are something of value, it changes like the game. And like, it's just so, like you said, it's very rare to be taught that as a minority. Whereas if you like, and I don't want to be like white bashing or whatever, but like I feel like in white America, Western culture, from the very beginning, it's like, no, Johnny, you're special.
Yeah, you're encouraged to do that.
Yeah, like you're gonna go places. You go out there and tell your story. You know, like no one ever told me that as a kid. You know,
yeah, I never had that encouragement. And if anything, it was like, this is what my mom would say. She goes, "I'm gonna bash you first before anyone else gets a chance to bash you." So she'll be like, my kid is lazy, my kid is dumb, my kid's whatever, because she's like, well, no one else, like, they can't say that about you anymore because I just said that. And I'm like, but what about the good stuff, Mom?
Yeah. My mom said that stuff too.
And what's sad is that I actually think like, if it comes from like, you know, our parents and, you know, just generationally, they actually have some of the craziest stories. Yeah. You know, like, and one thing that actually drives me a lot these days is I think about, so you look at like let's say like white American culture, like there's films and stories and books for like every era of American history, right? Like or even like more recently, like you got Saturday Night Fever for the 70s, you got, you know, John Hughes movies and 16 Candles for the 80s. Like if you're a white person, you can see like a bunch of these like a chronology of like your culture. Yeah. And I'm kind of, I mean, just to make it specific about Asian Americans, like I kind of like,
you guys have yellow apparel.
Yeah, like that's it. And like I think about like, you know, our parents coming over, and I'm like, man, like unless it's us telling that story, that their entire struggle of that generation coming over is going to be erased.
You never watched Romeo Must Die?
Yeah, that's exactly how that was my experience. Like, and you know what, I did, and that's like the only one we got. But like,
even though it was for 30 seconds, you see an Asian guy floating on a basketball.
Honestly, like that's such a powerful story, and that's a very real story. And you think about like, you know, the boat people coming from Vietnam. You think about, you know, my parents, they moved and they went to school in the Midwest as like the only Asian kids, you know, like in Minnesota. Like, so like,
oh, mine just crossed the border.
But even that, like, it's like it's just crazy to me to think like when it clicked, like when that clicked, I was like, oh my gosh. Because it's not going to be our parents making their own movies about themselves.
Yeah, we have to make it about them.
And they don't find it special either.
And they don't find it. That's the thing. I'm like, Mom, you guys fled like a cultural revolution.
Yeah, she's like, shut up. Yeah. What are you talking about?
And I'm like, I just, you know, went to college, you know, and I didn't know what I wanted to do.
And you still couldn't get straight A's.
So that's definitely like a thing that has driven me in terms of like, you know, sharing our voices and stuff, because it's not, no one's going to do it for us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're new to this. We're relatively new to this country too, so we have some time to pick that up. But I hope, you know, there's not just me, but like other, you know, directors, filmmakers, writers, they see the value in telling those stories, and you do see more of it coming out. So
yeah. Were you gonna ask Bart if he kind of felt that too?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, what empowered you to? I'm assuming it was like your time in the military, but like, what empowered you to feel like, you know, you had a personality, a voice, or whatnot?
Actually, I never really thought I had a personality or a voice. Like, I didn't have like an aha moment. Mm-hmm. I think growing up, watching like TV and stuff, I did feel like a lack of representation.
Yeah.
Like the only person that I could really see was like either Bobby Lee or did you watch The Vanishing Son with Russell Wong?
I mean,
well, it's a short-lived thing.
I know Russell Wong just because of Romeo Must Die.
Yeah. It's like a very short-lived thing, and even him, it wasn't like it wasn't extremely relatable. But I'm like, oh, of course, another Asian guy.
Yeah. Dude, Rush Hour like changed my life like that in high school. I was like so happy, even though that's like an import, technically like with Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my god, Asian lead with like in like a mainstream movie, like that was cool.
Yeah, and I really liked it too, just because I was a fan of Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
So to see him cross over, so my friends could finally watch something that I enjoyed.
Right.
I thought that was cool.
That was our BTS moment, that's like our our Crazy Rich Asians,
funny.
right?
Yeah. So I think when we first started doing it, it wasn't even like we didn't have like this goal we're trying to achieve. It was just me and Joe making videos, trying to make each other laugh.
Oh yeah.
And then from
nosy ass people were like in the comments.
Yeah. So it was. I think it started off personal, but even when we started getting views and comments, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait, don't people fuck around anyways?
Yeah.
And then so as we got older and older, I think like when JK Films evolved to JK News, one of my favorite comments to see is like, oh, my friends are just like you guys.
Yeah,
it's just we have cameras on, because I think there's always like a group circle dynamic that people always have a good time in.
Yeah.
And I think though what separates me, or I guess what makes me quote unquote special from other people now, is I don't think that I'm special.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that my ability to take something traumatizing or painful and be able to make it funny and relatable is like I guess a new skill that I learned, and I actually learned that through stand-up comedy. So I think for me, like, there's two main bucket list things that I still want to accomplish, or maybe a couple in entertainment. So one we're working on, which is like a film or series. So I want to get long form content out there. The second one, I do want to eventually work on a 1 hour stand-up special, because when I did stand-up for a little bit, like what I really loved about it is you don't have any co-writers really. You're not limited by budget. You're not limited by production. Your story is 100% yours.
It's very pure.
Yeah. And the more personal you go, the more relatable it ends up being. Because people can like, if you talk about a story, you have to climb a fence from China to Vietnam, they can put themselves in your shoes and think about, oh, when I had to like hop the fence at school or something like that. There's so
very similar.
Have you heard his stand-up sets? Have you tested his jokes?
No,
he went to every one of my shows.
Yeah, and I would laugh at every one. I was like the loudest laugher there.
That's a good fan.
I can actually relate to you more than what he's saying, because I just had that moment this year with Hey Bitch. Because growing up, same exact thing. Like, I was never special. I'm even the middle child, so even more so never special.
I have a nephew that's a middle child right now, and I can already see the middle child syndrome forming. I'm
it's sad,
oh god,
man.
It's real.
Sad.
It's real. Yeah.
It's a legit thing. Yeah. So then, working with them, meeting people like you, I was always like, cool, I want to support these people that have so much to say, because I believe in their why, and I want to be a part of this because it's inspirational. And through all that, I'm like, oh shit, that's actually pretty tight. But as the older I got, I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of people out there and girls out there that just didn't have the big sister or are also kind of going through these trials and tribulations. And I'm like, well, not to say I'm special, but
you are special, Gio.
Thank you. I am a snowflake. But just to be like, okay, well, let me be the big sister to these people, and share my, my thoughts and 2 cents and my experiences, and hopefully that can help guide them, because I didn't have any guidance.
Yeah, and I think that's crazy that you said it was only recently with Hey Bitch, because like you've been in the public eye for so long, you've already had so many followers for so long, and it took even this long for you to finally accept who you actually were.
Because like I've been in fitness, I've done comedy, like I've done so many different things, but I would never say like I'm good at that. Like that's my space. Listen to what I have to say. Even though like I was pretty decent in fitness, and I'm like decently funny. I guess I would never call myself a comedian, but I'm never gonna be like, this is how you do it, or I'm gonna teach you how to do YouTube. Like that's just not in me.
Yeah, I think that just part of it just comes with like age, and just realizing, like
I'm also 40.
Yeah,
almost 40.
Like old mom. Like and you look back at what you've done, you're like, oh wait, I guess I actually kind of did know what I was doing, and you compare, you kind of look to your left and your right, and you're like, oh yeah, there's no one really like me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. Like, it's like a race, and you realize I've been running for so long, just focused on myself and like, just trying to get, and then you realize, oh, I'm actually there's no one around me.
Yeah, and you see everyone else doing their own races, and you're like,
Exactly.
oh, well, I'm not them either.
Right. You thought that you were racing against each other, and you just realized that everyone's just running around like crazy, just trying to figure something out in their lives. You're like, what's going on? Oh, I'm just by myself. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, dude, it's been enlightening. Kind of. That's great. I don't know if it's a 30s thing.
It might be. Well, see, it might be that. It might be, it might be us getting closer to death.
Like, whoa. I'm not dying anytime soon.
But I think I try to encourage, younger people, because like if you say it's like 30, like, because I was just even thinking, I do try to give this advice to younger people, and I say, hey, the sooner you can know yourself or know your worth.
That's hard. How do you teach
that? It's hard, but maybe that's actually like how you get people, like these truly successful comedians or actors or directors, because like they were even if it was like, not earned, like there was just like blind confidence, but maybe that's what it takes to like get ahead. You know what
I say? Because for me, I'm 35, about to be 36, and I still don't know who I am. Like I feel like every few years I'm changing. Even every month I'm like, oh shit, I used to think that way, and I just had this epiphany. Now I'm completely. Yeah. So what I say is, I like with younger people, I just say do a bunch of shit. Yeah. Don't worry about the timeline, because everyone's like, I got to go to school. I got to graduate. I just got to focus on this, and I got to get my degree so I can go and get a good job. It's like, nah, it doesn't really work like that. But I just say, do a bunch of shit, make a bunch of mistakes, fail a shit ton of times. Because right now is like in your 20s is when you should be failing. You have nothing to lose. Right. Do you guys watch Gary Vee?
Sometimes, I love him. Like I don't follow him, but like every so often, like something comes my way.
What do you have against him?
I have nothing against him. I think it's cool.
He's trying to pull the tea out.
No. Like, but I think he said one thing that I thought was really funny. Like I definitely agree with this. Like in your 20s, it's like this is the only time where it's acceptable for you to have like 5 roommates. Eat like like 50-cent tacos. As like all your meals. So like. That's the time when you should be doing that, so that it allows you to like go chase everything and be super hungry, right? So I totally agree with that, and I think but like you said, like sometimes like it's circumstance, some people aren't allowed to do that or aren't able to do that.
Why though? Why aren't they allowed to do that?
Well, sometimes like there's familial responsibilities, financial responsibilities.
I mean, they get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I think
that's why I'm saying your 20s is your prime to do a bunch of shit, right? Like
that's true.
I'm not saying go be reckless. I'm not saying go and like make it rain when you only have like $100 in your thing. Like obviously be responsible, be acknowledge that there's other people in your life that might potentially get hurt. So I'm not saying break any laws or whatever, but if it comes to something where it's like I want to move out because I want to enrich my life, but your parents are like, no, that tradition, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, parents, you will get over it.
Right. That's true.
Shit true. Like that. Like, but if it comes to something like your mom's on her deathbed and you're like, no, dude, I gotta go to Hollywood. It's like, well, I get it.
You should go against all of your fears.
Yes.
If they're not responsibilities.
Yeah. Right.
But if it's just a fear, like, oh, what if my mom thinks about this?
Who cares?
What about this guy thinks about this?
I could never get tattoos, and I have a bunch of tattoos.
Okay, if they're just fears, I think you should go against them in your 20s.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say
you should kiss guys in public if you want to kiss guys in public.
It's like
that's an inside joke.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind, Helen. But like I think even having this mentality, you got to acknowledge too. Like it is a privilege for us to like even feel this way. Like our parents weren't allowed to like be so reckless or like chase these things
but they were though.
Were they?
That's why they came here.
That's why they came. Yeah,
absolutely. Because if they
They're
didn't,
rock stars,
if they weren't reckless, they'd be in their situation. Like, you know what I mean? But they don't acknowledge it that way because they're like, I had no other choice. But it's like you always have a choice.
Yeah, our parents were such millennials.
Yes. To their parents, they're millennials. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, stay here.
Like
what are you doing?
My dad had 6 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and they're all still.
Well, 2 of them made the move to Hong Kong and then come here.
Yeah.
The other 5, they stuck with the rules and just stayed in China.
Oh.
So I guess the other ones,
and they're fine.
Those 2 are like the rock stars.
Yeah. Do you have family that's still?
No.
Okay, so
no,
they all came over. Okay, cool.
I mean that we're close to.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think like I always tell people like similar to what you're saying, like you should take your time, but also don't waste your time. Like there's a difference between the two. But those 2 things can coexist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of you.
Really?
I don't say take your time.
No. What I mean, like, take your time is like that's what I mean. It's not waste your time. Take your time means like don't feel like if you didn't do something right, it was a waste. Like you should be trying all these things. Yeah. Right. I think a lot of times people feel like they're
like don't rush into it.
They think that they're gonna fail before they even start.
Yeah.
And so they don't even start.
Yeah.
Right. So like they're like, oh, if I don't like, even with like a lot of YouTubers like or like people that want to do media, like, oh man, like if I don't get 1 million views but in the first year, I don't even want to do this.
Oh God.
I'm like, well, why
don't even do it.
Don't even do it. Yeah. Like if that's gonna be your only motive, then definitely don't do it. But like also know that it takes time.
Yeah.
To get to that level.
Yeah.
Right. So unless you make amazing slime, then you'll get there.
Then you don't gotta worry about
it. Or you start drama. But like that's what I mean. Yeah.
Damn,
But
this is a beautiful segment to. This is, I think, one of our longest podcasts.
I'm sorry.
Why? I was gonna say that's beautiful. This is a
Oh.
good thing. It was such a positive message.
Wholesome.
What are you talking? We say a lot. We have a lot of fucking
Whatever.
wholesome shit out there.
There's gonna be jokes about like Wong Fu being so wholesome and so like
Does
soft.
that bother you?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It totally doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Like,
It
No,
sounds like a little bit.
No,
it does.
it bothers. You know why it bothers me sometimes?
Oh, so it does bother you.
Sorry, it
Yes.
bothers me in that people don't value the importance of being soft sometimes.
Yeah.
And that they
see it as a bad thing.
That they see it as a bad thing, that they see emotions or that they see love as very like one color. So even
Yeah.
when they say like, oh, Wong Fu, like it's just all love. First of all, like we have way more comedic stuff than love stuff. But like when they think that love in relationships is just one thing, when
Yeah.
they don't realize actually how many different ways there's to like dissect it and stuff, like
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like you only think relationships are just this,
Yeah.
like, or you think that, showing sadness or showing uncertainty or fear like is weak,
I see that changing now a little bit.
What?
Where people, I think it's the millennials, and I got to give them props, is
Yeah.
they're so attuned to their emotions.
Dude,
And they love it.
Barbell Brigade should have like, some like,
Kleenex boxes?
Yeah, some sessions, where you guys talk about your feelings. That would be very powerful.
We do a lot.
we do it all the time.
All the time.
No, like
You don't watch our stuff.
Oh my God, that sucks, Phil. I thought you were my friend. Damn.
dominate humbly. That's right.
No, but yeah, I love that you did embrace that, and I guess you guys have been hearing it for years because you have your whole nice guys line.
That's something. Yeah, I think like it's never fun to be like just categorized as one thing, and then also
Yeah.
for people to say like, oh, like, and that one thing is like, not good or whatever. But I don't let it affect our decisions whatsoever.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
good.
know who we are and everything, and I'm glad that there are other channels that are different from us.
Absolutely.
So like I've we joke about this a lot, like the whole like JK beef. Like first of all, that was never there.
Yeah.
But I think we just played into it because the fans think that your guys' channel is so different from ours. But the point is that Asians are different.
Different, yeah.
And the thing is like we can coexist and we can be friends. I can see the value of your guys' content the same way that you guys can see ours, and we motivate each other.
Yeah. Even me and Joe are different.
Yeah.
We're in the same
What?
company.
No,
like
no,
his
same.
His Instagram content is way different from mine. His vlog channel is way
Well,
different
his is
from mine.
different from all human beings, though.
Yeah.
No, but even like when we were just in Toronto, you're saying like, oh my God, no, we're using Wong Fu as a model for JK. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're using JK as a model for Wong Fu.
yeah.
So it's like the blind leading
That's
the
so
blind.
Yeah. The back end stuff.
It's like, oh shit, yeah.
You guys are funny.
That was funny.
That's great, yeah.
But
So-
yes, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being on here. This was such a dope conversation that we
Yeah.
had. Definitely check out a bunch of Phil's stuff on Wong Fu Productions.
Wong Fu.
Go to Bopo Mofo.
Very good. Very
Right?
good.
It's-
Bopomofo. You haven't been there yet, whatever. It's okay.
Oh.
It's right,
Have
you
been-
wait-
How many times did you go to Barbell? That you weren't shooting.
I can't afford to go to bar. I was literally actually
It would be free if you went.
when you told me like if I wanted a drink or if I wanted coffee, I'm like, no, water's fine, and a 1 day pass to Barbell would be enough. Like,
You text me that? I didn't see that.
No, I was gonna say that, but I
Oh.
was afraid to ask for the day pass.
You can go in for free anytime.
Yeah, you just walk
Dude,
in.
I would be
Hello.
wasting space there. People would like.
You calling our gym small, dude?
No, as in the people there where it's like need
I
all
get
the
you.
equipment, and they'd be like, get off the machine, and I'd be
Yeah,
like,
right.
yes sir, ma'am, yeah.
No, you're tripping.
Dude,
But yeah.
I would love to go there. Like
Yeah.
no, actually Helen is like super into fitness too. So
Yeah,
we've
she's
been,
pretty ripped.
Yeah, we've been trying to like or I've been trying to get in better shape, and especially after the basketball game, like taking a couple screens and trying to box this guy out.
Dude, he's a wall.
I think this bruise is just from like touching you. I honestly like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's a wall, dude.
Yeah.
There's, our gym's probably 10 or 15 minutes away from your house.
Oh man. All right. I got it. all right, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go there.
Okay, we're gonna film it.
Yeah, training session.
Yeah.
I think you should train us and just totally destroy me. Like
I haven't gone in there to really like strictly train in like over a year.
She's probably still stronger than you though.
Yeah, probably. that's legit, and that's I'm okay to admit that. You know, like that's you gotta have a base, you know, to come up from. But no, come check out Both Mofo. I'll go to Barbell. I gotta go to SIP. I would love to go to a housewarming.
Oh, we don't have that yet.
We haven't even had one yet.
Dude, you know what's funny? Right now, they're barely installing our blinds. Okay. We had trash bags for blinds, for the past month.
JK's roughing it out right now. Yeah. You guys, hey, go
our
go buy a t-shirt. Yeah, their mansion has trash bags for it. Go buy a t-shirt. All right, guys, go renew your subscription to Barbell.
All right, on that note, thank you so much, Phil. Stay tuned for our sponsors.
Yes, more sponsors. Yeah, watch the sponsors.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to our sponsors, Third Love and Skillshare. Go to thirdlove.com/BEAW. That's Bea for 15% off your first purchase, and go to Skillshare.com/BEAW. Again, that's Bea. Skillshare.com/Bea for 2 months free. Thank you guys. See you guys next time.
Bye.